Before I start this video, let me get this out of the way.
2319! We have a 2319!
Red alert! Red alert! Red alert!
Oh. Hey, thanks guys. That was a close one.
I had to get that off my chest. You're welcome. Okay, cue the disclaimer. Hello everyone, I'm Sorcerer Chris. Among many memorable video games, Kingdom Hearts holds a special place in everyone's, well, hearts. And with the long anticipated release of Kingdom Hearts 3, it's time to take a walk down memory lane as I tell you the story of all the events that led us up to where we are now. Before I begin, I'll say that this series will contain major spoilers to all of the Kingdom Hearts games. However, for obvious reasons, I will be excluding any type of information from Kingdom Hearts 3 because, well, honestly I haven't even played it myself, so you're in good hands. However, for the rest of the games before then, if you don't want any spoilers to those games, feel free to stop this video and probably watch something else. But for those of you still around, I hope you enjoyed the story. Let's begin with the Key series, the mobile game. Key, Unchained, and back cover. The tale begins in the age of fairy tales, where the Master of Masters has entrusted each of his 5 apprentices with a copy of the Book of Prophecies, a tome that contains the future but also contains other powers, like the ability to create worlds. The book foretells of a dire event coming where an all-out war will consume the world and darkness will swallow the light. The Master of Masters warns his apprentices that this event is set in stone and is impossible to change, so to not fixate on it. Instead, plan for what comes next. He also bestows a special task on each of his apprentices. Ira is given the task of being the leader. Ace is given the task of supporting Ira and taking his place should Ira prove unreliable at his task. Envy was tasked with observing her fellow apprentices and acting as a mediator. Ava was given the goal of training dandelions, Keyblade wielders that will go forth after the war to help rebuild, and Gula was given a missing page from the Book of Prophecy that speaks of a traitor and is tasked with discovering who it is. The Master of Masters' final apprentice, Luxu, who was not given a copy of the book. Instead, Luxu was entrusted with the Master of Masters' Keyblade and had one of his eyes grafted into it and told to take the Keyblade and use it to witness the events in the future, so the Master's current self could see them and create the Book of Prophecies. He also entrusts Luxu with a trunk that he is told to never open. With that done, the Master of Masters vanishes without a trace, and shortly after, Luxu does as well. The remaining 5 apprentices go about their other main tasks, the formation of unions. Unions would be a unified team of Keyblade wielders that would work to carry out each union's goals, namely the gathering of Lux, or light, from various worlds that are eventually revealed to be artificial worlds created by the Book of Prophecies. This goal eventually starts a wedge between the 5 apprentices, now called foretellers, as accusations of stealing Lux and fierce competition creates animosity between the unions. All the while behind the scenes, the foretellers grow increasingly worried about the potential traitor among them and begin to plot against each other. Finally, with the unions at each other's throats and the foretellers turned against each other, do all 5 go to war. In an event that history would come to be known as the Keyblade War, scores of Keyblade wielders died in a fierce battle between the unions to lay claim to the light for their own faction. Kingdom Hearts, the source of all light, was swallowed up by the darkness, and on a hill in the distance stands Luxu, holding the Master of Masters' Keyblade. Next is Union Cross. Following the events of the Keyblade War, the Keyblade wielders that survive awoke in various worlds that they had visited in that they were created by the Book of Prophecy. The Keyblade War remembered only as a terrible dream as they continued on their adventures and making friends in Daybreak Town and various worlds. However, things weren't like they were before. the foretellers were gone. In their place, 5 specially selected members of the Dandelions were to take over and form new unions and lead the remaining Keyblade wielders. They were presented with special books that would guide them, crafted by Master Ava. One girl who received such a book, Sterletzia, is murdered by a shadowy figure and her book stolen. The other new leaders assemble, Skuld and Efmerma, friends of the player character. Brain, an inquisitive fellow who hides his face with a big hat, Lorium, a pink-haired boy, and Sterletzia's brother, and Ventus, a blonde kid. They begin to work together to figure out solutions for those who remain and how best to move forward. To assist them, a single copy of the Book of Prophecy was left in the Foreteller's Tower for them. So they start, not knowing that one among them isn't supposed to be there. Meanwhile, Maleficent has appeared within the world and has begun to try to enact her plan before Sora could even exist. But despite her knowledge of the future, she cannot even succeed in the Enchanted Dominion, let alone escape to the outside like she had before. A shadowy figure appears to confront her, explaining that she can't change the scenario that's been created. Inquiring further, the shadow explains to Maleficent that without the Book of Prophecy, no worlds could be created. So in preparation for the events after the Keyblade War, data worlds were created instead. All of the worlds that the Book of Prophecy created were recreated in data formed for the Keyblade wielders. Pardon that little slip-up. When Maleficent leapt through time, she didn't land in her Enchanted Dominion but the data version. Because of that, she is stuck in the same loop regardless of what she tries to do. However, the shadowy figure can help her get back to her own time. Unfortunately, the Union Cross game is still currently being updated as of this time. However, the chances of the story continuing is more likely, so that will probably continue in due time. This has been Chapter 1 of the Kingdom Hearts series. In the next chapter, I will be telling you the story of Birth by Sleep. Hope you enjoyed the story, and have a nice day.